Hi friends, let's start our literature class from today. We begin our class with Old English period. Let's start. History of English literature properly begins with the history of Old English literature. Old English period starts from mid-5th century AD to the Norman conquest of England in 1066. Old English literature includes literature written in Old English, also called Anglo-Saxon. The Anglo-Saxons and Jutes together were called the English. The English lived as small tribal kingdoms. The threat of Danish conquest unified England under King Alfred of Essex. His successors, called JINCY'S, gave the name England. Initially, it was called England. English literature flourished till the Norman conquest in 1066. Five major Old English writers are Aldham, Bede, Seidman, Alfred, and Wolf. Old English literature includes genres such as epic poetry, hagiography, sermons, Bible translations, legal words, chronicles, and riddles. Old English literature is preserved in four major manuscripts. They are the Junius manuscript, the Exeter book, the Versailles book, and the Novel Codex. Let's study all these things in detail. The Junius manuscript. It is also known as Seidman manuscript. It is an illustrated poetic anthology. Next comes the Exeter book. It is also an anthology. It is kept in the Exeter Cathedral since it was donated there in the 11th century. Next comes the Versailles book. It is a mix of poetry and prose. Nobody knows how it came to be in Versailles, Italy, and it is a matter of debate. The Novel Codex. It is a mixture of poetry and prose. This is a manuscript that contains the well-known Old English poem Beowulf. Next, let's learn about Old English poetry. Old English poetry may be studied under two major heads. First, the heroic Germanic pre-Christian, and the next, the Christian. Let's study in detail about the heroic Germanic pre-Christian. Heroic poetry deals with heroic themes, which includes the stories of warriors and kings. Some of the important heroic poems are The Reign of the Rood, and Voltaire and Finnsburg. Voltaire deals with the heroics of Walter, whereas Finnsburg deals with the fragment of a fight. Next comes Christian literature. This mostly includes verse paraphrases of Old Testament stories such as Seidman's Genesis and Exodus, Daniel and Judith. It also includes lives of saints such as Andrew or Helena. The Gospel, Psalms, and other books were translated into English during the Old English period. The Old English poetry, which has received the most attention, deals with Germanic heroic past. The longest, that is 3,182 lines, and the most important is Beowulf, which appears in the damaged Novel Codex. The tale likewise probably is of Scandinavian origin. Beowulf. Beowulf is an Old English heroic epic poem of unknown authorship dating as recorded in the Novel Codex, manuscript from between 8th and the early 11th century. It is set in Denmark and Sweden. Beowulf belongs to Germanic heroic tradition. In the poem Beowulf, a hero of Geats battles three antagonists. The main three antagonists are Grendel, Grendel's mother, and a fire-breathing dragon. Originally untitled, it was later named after the Scandinavian hero Beowulf. There is no evidence of a historical Beowulf, but some characters, sites, and events in the poem can be historically verified. The poem may be divided into two parts. Part 1, it opens in Denmark, and the importance of part 1 we'll discuss now. Here, King Hrothgar's splendid mead hall. Heorot has been ravaged for 12 years by the evil monster Grendel, who carries off Hrothgar's warriors and devours them. Beowulf, a prince of Geats of southern Sweden, arrives. During the night, Grendel enters Mead Hall and devours one of the sleeping Geats. Beowulf fights Grendel and wounds him, and later Grendel dies. Grendel's mother kills a few soldiers in order to take revenge of her son's death. Beowulf goes after her and kills her in a cave. After killing Grendel and Grendel's mother, Beowulf returns home to King Hygelac and Geats. King Hygelac of the Geats. Next comes part 2. The second part deals with the death of King Hygelac and Beowulf's succession to the throne. He rules peacefully for 50 years. The last part of Beowulf deals with Beowulf's fight with a fire-breathing dragon which attacks his land. The aging Beowulf kills the dragon, but he is wounded and he dies. The poem ends with a grand funeral accorded to Beowulf. This is the final ending of the story Beowulf. And let's learn the character.